Limpopo MEC for Cooperative Governance, Human Settlements and Traditional Affairs, Basikopo Makamu, joins us now for more. MEC, a very good evening to you and thank you so much for your time. Perhaps maybe let's just start with an update with regards to the situation in the province with the heavy rains, and maybe talk to us about the main areas that have been affected due to these floods.
Thanks very much, Katlego, and the viewers. Let me indicate that, as it was said, like our counterpart or sister province, Mpumalanga, that the South African Weather Services has issued the level 9 and 6 orange alert. It shows that we still will have this challenge until Saturday. We had a meeting today. The South African Weather Service is still confirming that we're still expecting heavy rains tonight and tomorrow. But the most affected areas, it's Vhembe and also Mopani, but also part of Sekhukhune is now starting to be affected. But let me indicate that it's severe. As I'm speaking to you now, we still have some colleagues of ours who are from the SAPS, the BMA, who are at the Pafuri gate, where they are starting to fearing that water might cover the border gate because it's raining, like you said, in Kruger National Park. But our teams are linking with them very well. We are going to evacuate them because we are on the ground. But as I said, the Premier has convened an urgent meeting where all MECs and all HODs and all executive mayors of the province were at the meeting to make sure that we tighten our plans to be on the ground so that we can be able to be ready for any incident that may want to take somebody's life.
Yeah, and what do you see as some of the most common challenges that the communities are facing due to these floods? And maybe talk to us about some of those resources that have been allocated, like you mentioned, in evacuating people and relieving some of that stress from residents.
Look, the most challenging issue, and if you can be assisted as government, it's when people want to take chances, even when they see a river flowing or a stream flowing, they want to cross over. We are calling upon everybody else to remain. But the resources we have, of course, it will not be enough, because you will know a province like us will always have a challenge because of the rural nature of our province. The roads that are there are most gravel, but they will have been swept away. We do have a program in the province which is called the Kherekhere. They could have done work, but all that work have been now cleaned by this rain. So bridges, your streams are badly affected in the roads, but also electricity in some communities because the poles have been thrown away by the strong winds. And as such, we are working well with ESCOM and municipalities in making sure we resuscitate. But the reality still remains that we think the roads are badly affected, the schools are badly affected. We are trying our level best to see what is it that we can be able to do since immediately the rain start to lower. Like we are promised that by the 16th, we may not necessarily still be expecting the rain as they are. But look, we have been in a sustained disaster from late December, around 24th, until now. Definitely, it's not even giving us chance to deal with the disaster we incurred about some 2 weeks ago.
Speaking on that sustained disaster for over quite some time, MEC, are there steps being taken in order to improve the disaster preparedness and just some of the resilience to these floods so that in future you don't find yourselves working against the current when trying to solve the problem?
Look, the province does have a well-crafted disaster management plan that can lead us. But sometimes competing needs of the province with the resources that we have, we find ourselves sacrificing some of the things, try to want to look at the mitigating factors. But I can confirm now that all our 5 districts, they are district disaster management center and the provincial disaster management center, maximizing the resources we have. We are on the ground trying to assist. That's why I said that each and every department instructed by the Premier is that to see what is it that we can be able to do with the resources that we have in order to saved their life. And that's why, as we speak now, currently, we are activating our resources and implementing them now properly. You might have seen 2 days or a day, yesterday to be precise, we rescued a mother and 2 children somewhere around the Mutale. That is what we are referring to. But we are still calling upon that the resources may not necessarily be enough if people are not helping or communities are not helping us to be playing a precautionary measure. The Department of Education has issued a circular putting that we should put on some reopening of classes, specifically in Vhembe and Mopani, just to make sure that we don't lose life.
And would the calling of declaring a state of disaster in the province assist with that resource allocation?
We are busy, as if you were part of the meeting, Ms. Katlego, that we have activated any form of resource, municipalities bringing all the damages they have incurred. We will be by tomorrow. I had a discussion with the Minister of Corporate Governance just to see that we get the necessary help for assessment so that the declaration or classification by the National Disaster Management Center head to declare our province a disaster area.
All right. Thank you so much, MEC, for joining us. We certainly hope that maybe you can get that declaration for resources to be allocated differently in order for you to move away from the sustained disaster and have more resources in terms of averting further disaster. That is the MEC for Cooperative Governance and Human Settlements and Traditional Affairs in the Limpopo province, Basikopo Makamu, speaking to us there about the wreaking of havoc of floods in that province.